Hello everybody, welcome back to another video here today on my channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. Today we're going to be reacting to Joshua Wiseman and his gyro recipe. And keep in mind, I am Greek, yes, that doesn't mean I know how to cook it, but I was raised in a Greek family that just so happened to cook it damn near every day. So I do know the proper steps, what's traditional, what isn't, so we're just gonna, watch it, see what happens, see how accurate it is, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let's get into it. If it'll let me go into full screen. Okay, so that's the intro. Let's see.
I'm thinking, what can I make that people just don't think to make? And that story has led us here, and we're making everything. Okay, so today we are making gyros, Greek gyros. However you want to say it, just don't say gyros, okay? Doesn't that hurt?
No, if you say gyro, there's a special place in hell for people like you. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. Like it's not gyro. We're not doing that. That's me.
You just hear gyro? What are you, gyroing your hips? This is essentially a flatbread sandwich that consists of pita, then meat, then tzatziki, my brain farted for a second there, and various other accoutrements like herbs and or red onion, yada yada yada.
Good. Minus the yada yada yada, but good.
I could talk about this all day, but I'd rather get into the world of spinning meat and puffy bread. So with all that said, let's make this, shall we?
All right, we're going all the way, homies. We got the homemade pita. We have the
Good. Homemade pita, it's always good, always a plus. Still store-bought's alright if you're not good at making bread like I am, just get store-bought. It's not the same, but it'll get you where you need to go.
proper gyro being cooked on a rotisserie spit. And of course, an absolute
Now, yes, I do know how to cook gyro, but I'm just not as good as most of the people in my family. But I still do know how to make it traditionally and correctly, so that's why I'm making this video is because this caught my eye and a friend recommended me to do this video. That's the only reason I'm here right now. And so I'm going to just be, reviewing this, so let's continue.
unit of tzatziki. Right, sorry about that. Let's first begin with our pita. Start off with 3/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons or 207 milliliters of lukewarm water, around 95 Fahrenheit. Then to that, you're gonna mix in 1.5 teaspoons or 6 grams of instant yeast and 1 tablespoon or 4
We don't really, like, don't measure the water's temperature. You kind of just feel it. If it burns your finger, you just want to make sure that it is just above lukewarm, but not enough to burn your finger, if that makes sense.
14 grams of granulated sugar. Whisk that until dissolved, then let the rest of that bloom for about 7 minutes. Then in a small bowl, whisk together 2 cups or 300 grams of all-purpose flour with 2 teaspoons or 14 grams of fine sea salt. Then realize a small bowl was a horrible choice and instead do that in a very large bowl. Excellent work, Josh. A true professional. Now right before mixing, whisk 1 tablespoon or 13 grams of extra virgin olive oil into your bloomed yeasty mixture. Then pour that into your flour mixture and begin mixing the dough by hand, and as soon as it forms a dough, turn it out onto a work surface and give it a nice knead. It will be pretty sticky, so picking it up, slapping it down, and folding it over itself, also known as
That is a good technique. That is pretty much how we do it.
slap and fold. Wow, see how that name kind of just sounds similar?
Oh my god.
Frick. Anyway, this is an easier tactic to knead the dough. Now go ahead and slap and fold it for about 1 to 3 minutes or until smooth but not tearing. Then spray a medium-sized bowl with cooking spray, shape your dough into a light ball, and carefully place it into your bowl, cover with greased plastic wrap, and let that rise for 1 hour or until doubled. Now as that's rising, you should do 2 things.
Now, he is correct with this. The one thing I want to touch on is we usually make this in big batches. Now, granted, he is doing this in a small batch. We do a giant batch because we usually feed a bunch of people because Greek food is generally for a gathering. But, anyway, continuing.
First, you should pop a pizza stone into your oven and begin preheating it to its maximum temp at least 475 or 500 Fahrenheit. Yes, it needs to heat the stone for over an hour. Otherwise, Papa will be very big sad.
He is correct, but also you'd probably get a sandal thrown at you anyway.
Now while that's doing its thing, let's prep our meat. Yes, Joshi has the meat. Now first you'll need 3 to 4 pounds of boneless pork shoulder.
Well, this is traditionally you can use any meat, but most commonly we use lamb, mainly because in Greece that's what the most common thing is. It's just basically where it is most commonly. I don't know how to explain it, but basically the most common meat there is pretty much lamb because it's everywhere. My point is, it's a lot cheaper there than it is here, and it's easier to come by, so that's why we use it. And in my opinion, tastes a lot better than pork shoulder, depending on the way you cook it. Anyway, continuing.
And about 1.5 pounds of skinless pork belly. Start by
Okay, the pork belly, he's onto something there. That would be a good touch with pork shoulder.
slicing your pork shoulder into 1/2-inch thick slices all the way down that brother. And for the pork belly, you'll likely need to cut it into 2 even segments, then slice those into 1/2-inch pieces as well, sort of like half bacons. Oh, look at them being cute and ready to be consumed. Now for the spice mix, snag a small bowl and combine, get ready for this, 1 tablespoon or 13 grams of smoked paprika, 1 tablespoon or 11 grams of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon or 8 grams of ground cumin, 1 tablespoon or 3 grams of dried oregano, 1 tablespoon or 4 grams of finely chopped fresh thyme, 1 tablespoon or 14 grams of granulated sugar, okay, almost there, and 2 tablespoons or 19 grams of kosher salt. Now give that some whiskey
Correct.
business,
Good.
and that's your gyro meat spice. It's a lot, but don't skip any of these if you want it.
Yeah, no, if you want it to be as authentic as possible, you're gonna want all of those flavors. And the way we do it, we try and do it in equal amounts, except except for the sugar. Keep that sugar the same depending on the batch. You don't want it overly sweet, but you want it to balance out the rest of the flavors. That is very, very important.
Taste absolutely mad, brava. Now place all your sliced meat in a container in single layers, seasoning each layer as you go until you've added all the meat, then add the rest of your seasoning and gently toss together. Finally, add in 3 tablespoons or 45 grams of white distilled vinegar. Toss again until everything is thoroughly coated. I do it in layers to make this easier to coat with seasoning and, without
We do the same, especially in bigger batches, we do the same.
shredding the meat to bits from violently tossing it around for too long. Now look, I bought this big rotisserie shawarma.
What? Oh, okay, I guess we can... You know what? I'm gonna watch this before I judge.
Gyro roast meat thing, which honestly I highly recommend, and the link is in the bio. And I'm gonna explain how to use it, but if you
Now, granted, that face wasn't because it's not gonna work. I'm just confused because I've never seen this done for gyro. Not saying it shouldn't be done. Actually, a really unique concept that would definitely work. I'm just saying it's not something I see very often. I usually see this for shawarma and gyro are pretty similar. But
you need an alternative, then you can always use the method in my al pastor recipe, and the link is in the bio for that skewer grill
that's how we do it.
method. Now, anyway, stack your meat all the way up Papa's big rod.
What? Oh my god. Continuing.
Alternating pork shoulder and belly until all of your meat is used and it comes up to the tippy top. If you're using a rotisserie like mine, be sure to fix your prong holster on the top as well, and that is your beautiful log of meat. Isn't it gorgeous? Gazing upon it feels
Why'd he call it a log? Why did he call it a log?
no different than staring at the great mountains forged by Mother Nature. Now pop your fat meat log onto your rotisserie and head to the great outdoors for safety. Turn on your electric
That's fair.
spindle, heat the grills to about medium low, if it gives that option, hopefully. Then all you gotta do is let it rotate and cook from anywhere between 1 to 3 hours, checking it often, and once the outside starts to fully cook, you can begin shaving it. Just be sure to avoid burning it as you do.
He's got good color. It's a little charred, but depending on which part of Greece you're from, that's okay. Like, some people, depending on where you are in Greece, would prefer it to be charred, others wouldn't. It's really perspective and how you like it, so it's mainly personal preference. But for me, I do like it like this, so yeah, that's fine with me.
Do this. And really, that's all there is to it. This machine does the work for you, and it's one of my greatest investments yet. Okay, our rotisserie is going. It's time to finish the pita. Get your fully grown dough, punch the life out of it, and turn it onto a lightly floured work surface, and cut it into 6 equal pieces. If you're extra like me, those pieces will be about 75 grams each. Now gently take your dough babies and form them into light balls and place them in a lightly floured container where they have some space. Top that with a lid and let them rest for 30 minutes, covered, obviously. To shape and bake, take one of your nice balls, lightly flour it, press it down to form a fat
Why does he say it like that? He didn't have to say it like that.
disc. That's disc, folks. Then roll it out into a 6-inch disc. It's about 1/3 of an inch thick or so. Make sure to measure your disc so everyone is happy with your size. Transfer
Like, I don't care as long as he doesn't f it up as bad as like, I've seen him. I've obviously watched Joshua. I am subscribed. I'm hoping. I'm really hoping he sticks to traditional here. I have faith that he will. I'm just saying. I've been watching way too much Uncle Roger lately and Jamie Oliver, but I'm just hoping and praying and hoping and praying. I have faith in him. I'm just insecure.
it to a small piece of parchment about the same size as the disc. You can always
Okay.
cut the parchment to proportion if needed. Then repeat with the rest of your nice little balls. So doing this 3 to 4 at a time, place your discs on a pizza peel and carefully slide them onto your heated pizza stone, making sure they're separated, and bake for 2 to 3 minutes. You know they're done when they're puffed beautifully and are a light golden color. Remove them, transfer them to a tea towel to keep warm, then repeat with the rest of your beautiful pitas that are so fluffy you might as well lay your head on them and enter
An eternal slumber.
Do not lay your head on Zapita. That's a bad idea. Number one, it just came out of the oven, and number two, no one wants your lice on there. Okay? I'm not saying Joshua has lice, I'm just saying some people do. And if you're putting your head on bread, you've probably got problems. Anyway,
well, maybe not eternal. Like a 20-minute nap or something. Next, make a quick tzatziki by just
pronunciation. Good pronunciation.
combining 1.5 cups or 350
Good.
grams of Greek yogurt, half a large English cucumber that's been finely diced, 1 tablespoon of finely chopped parsley, 1 tablespoon of finely chopped dill, 1 tablespoon of finely chopped mint, the zest of 1 whole lemon, 3 cloves of grated garlic, and the juice from the lemon you just zested. Season
Good.
that to taste with salt, give it a nice little mix, and that is your tzatziki. Now, if you're adding tomatoes, do me a favor and please slice them thinly and nicely, and season them with salt and let them
Always season your tomatoes. I beg ya.
sit for a few minutes to cure before using them. Trust me, it's life-changing. Now we can finally assemble. First, slice your meat fresh and hot from the spindle, always. Just get as much as you need to serve. Now take a big fat pita, flatten it, and yes, obviously you can stuff this, but I've always seen it wrapped like a taco.
It's supposed to be eaten like that. Granted, you can stuff it, but if you go to Greece and do that, you're gonna get yelled at. I'm just letting you know.
So, to each their own. Now add in your juicy meat, a nice dollop of tzatziki, some sliced and ideally cured tomatoes, additional diced cucumber, an even mix of fresh parsley, fresh mint, and fresh dill, and finally, some very thinly sliced red onion, which
Red onions are optional in this case. It's mainly about personal preference. However, in this recipe, they would definitely be very good.
ideally has been sliced paper thin and ran under some cold tap water to remove some of its bitter spiciness,
Yes, always do that.
but retain
Always.
its sweetness. And that right there is the most bodacious, voluptuous, and nearly sensual gyro.
Josh, let me level with you. This is a gyro. Your fiance, my dude. I don't even know if y'all are married right now. I haven't kept up to date on that. All I remember was she was your fiance, and ooh, well, let's just hope she don't see this one.
I've ever seen. Now let's see if all this work was truly worth it.
Now, granted, that is probably a very good euro. I mean, or euro, but I don't know why I said it like that. But point being, is what it should look like. But let's see what he thinks of it.
So we have our gyro. Now, homemade pita. Homemade meat.
You can say euro or you can say euro. In Greece, we call it euro. Here we call it euro. But, whatever. As long as you are not calling it gyro or giro, I don't care.
I mean, come on, we put it on the spindle and everything. Do you have to go that far? Of course not. We blew it out of the water. What am I supposed to say? When I bit into this, my brain had so many things going off at once that for some reason, the very moment that I tasted it, my brain just immediately went, yeah, Squidward. I'm just being completely transparent with you guys. Oh, look at me, Vikram. Look at me. The meat is ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous because, well, I tasted it and it's insanely good, but I also saw Vikram's reaction. He took one bite, he had to walk it off. That's how good it was. The pita itself, soft, fluffy, chewy, terrible. Look at this. Oh
That does look like very good pita, though, I'm not gonna lie.
my God. And also, by the way, guess what? There's a pocket inside too. All right, so that's enough of that. This is a big fat W. And if you want to make your own gyros and you've never done it before, this is the guide for you. You have every tool you could possibly need. And you get out there and you go do it. You do.
There's really only one change I would make to this, and it's just by personal preference. It's not required at all. Instead of using shoulder and pork belly, I would use lamb, only because personal preference. You can use this the exact same way you want it, or, substitute anything else depending on your dietary restrictions. Either way, though, I personally prefer lamb. I think it tastes delicious, but those spices are definitely correct. They definitely do go together very, very well, and this is definitely a very good recipe. I'd have to give it 10 out of 10.
Papa. Papa love you. Good night.
No, don't throw pita like a frisbee.
You want to know what else is full of fat meat logs and big bread pockets? B-roll.
Alright guys, and that is it. So we made our gyros and they turned out beautifully. Beautifully! First off, that pita was it was perfect. Now before anyone gets mad, I'm like,
Josh, what the f***? You didn't stuff the pita? You idiot!
well, first off, okay, I've always seen it just put on top and then
It is correct, though. You don't stuff it.
folded like a taco almost. That's how I've always seen it done. Now, you can absolutely stuff them if you'd like, and you could see that there was a pocket to stuff them in. So hey, live your life however you want, and if you want to tell
Words to live by. Just do not tag me in it. Just do not tag me. Don't want to see it. Don't even want to know it exists. Just don't.
somebody else how to live their life, maybe you should reanalyze where you are and just stop. This has been Pita Pocket Thoughts with Josh. It was delicious. You should make it. If you want to just make your own pita and then make the meat some other way, like on the grill, that's totally fine. You could do it that way. No problem at all. Pick something out of this or
And I appreciate his openness about, you doing what you want. That is important. And again, cooking is all about creativity. However, there are certain boundaries not cross. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, don't like this content. Let me know.